Ciao Milanisti and welcome back. And I want to start off by saying I think you owe me an apology. I think you owe me a thank you that I was so critical on Fode Ballo-Toure. I can't even do this with a straight face. Look, I'm not going to do that as a cop-out. There's so many things we can talk about off the back of that Empoli game. What a game. Like, not in the sense of entertainment where like the whole 90 minutes we were killing it. I was really frustrated for the first 45. And then, second half we weren't that great. But the goals we got was just like... We'll go through it. It was sort of my breakdown of the game and my emotions. There's so many things to talk about. It's injuries. Rafael Leão starts the season. Rebic is back. Ballo-Toure gets the goal. Looking forward ahead, what teams we even have to play against Chelsea and Juventus and Chelsea again and Hellas Verona. It's just so much. It's so much to talk about. I'm trying to cram it all into one. But firstly, I do want to say, and I think this is a question to all you fans out there, are you not entertained? To quote Russell Crowe from Gladiator, are you not entertained as a Milan fan of what you're seeing on a weekly basis? And I think this is important because I think, we go back to the banter era of seeing these like deflating, pathetic games of football where you just kind of wanted someone just to finish us off. Here we sit, and mostly in games where we win. But even when we lose games, they're done with a style that, the crossbar just, we deserved more. Like, the games we win are just so entertaining as a fan to sit back. This is honestly top tier quality entertainment on display from Stefano Pioli and his boys. And you just can't write it. And I said with the injuries last week, and I said typically, and I know it's just Empoli, and I know we got tougher games ahead, but typically we have some like unknown, unpredicted heroes that step up in certain moments where the usual suspects are out, injured. And I'll start off with Ballo. Ballo-Toure, not Balotelli. Ballo-Toure, look, I stick by this. He is the definition of a 5 out of 10 player. Great finish, of course. I think his goal comes down to, mostly down to Krunic. Once again, he's unsung. He's not sung about enough of what he adds to this side in a diverse aspect. The fact that he's playing right wing, coming off of Salamakers, and his 10 positions he's played for so far being at the club. It's his header that puts it back into the box in a dangerous position. And honestly, if Ballo-Toure missed that, I would be here ripping on him. But he scored it. He took the moment. So I will give him some, good amount of respect here and props that he did not buckle in that moment of pressure. He took the moment and, he's now like a living hero right now on social media. But nonetheless, I'm still not really convinced by his overall quality. It's such a difference with him and Theo Hernandez. I'm not saying he should be like Theo Hernandez or anywhere near as close to as good as him. And it might come down to confidence. It might come down to like a game time. But at the same time, I just don't see it enough from him. But fair play to the kid, to the player. He took the moment, and I'm hoping that it adds to his confidence going into bigger games. So, it's all to be defined. Rebic is back. Ladies and gentlemen, Rebic is back. And I know these are tap-in goals, but I don't really give a damn, to be honest, because he's on 3 goals and 1 assist in 3 games, which now equaled his goal tally from last season, where he got 3 goals and I think 2 assists in 29 games. That is crazy. That's crazy. I'm not saying, you could just sit here and add the stats up and what does that mean for the rest of the season. It doesn't mean anything. But at the same time, it means we have someone that we can rely upon back into the squad, especially with Divock Origi still out. Not quite sure when he's going to come back. Hopefully soon. Ivanovic until next year. Salamakers, Macias, they were Salamakers got injured in this game last time. In Empoli game, and then Macias as well was not fit for the squad due to his issues as well. So good to have Rebic back in the squad. So shout out to Menez. So if you're watching this video, your boy's back, and honestly just in time for the Juventus game. And we know what game Rebic likes to score in the most. Juve. So I've spoken about Rebic. I've spoken about the Empoli game. I've spoken about Ballo-Toure. Injuries, like crazy, honestly. Who was it? Kaya, Calabria, and Salamakers get injured last night against Empoli off the back of Mignon and Theo Hernandez in the international break. We have Macias that pulled up as well before. I guess that kind of wasn't fit enough to be in the squad. So hopefully he comes back soon. Florenzi and Ibra back until next year. I think that's everyone. I don't know if that's anyone else I've not covered. Tonali's just come back from injury. It's crazy, honestly. We're losing players faster than we're getting them back. This is just, like I said last week, it's ridiculous that we had these friendlies, these Nation League games in the middle of club games in a season where we have a World Cup bang in the middle of a club season. It's just absolutely ridiculous. But here we are. We have to live through it. But thank God that this squad can manage to get on. And thank God we have someone like Stefano Pioli. And this leads me on to the next thing. Stefano Pioli is a coach who will get on with the squad and the players he has at his disposal, no matter who they are, no matter what 5 first-team starters are missing out of his side. So that's you, Max Allegri, with your cop out of an excuse as to why Juventus are so bad right now. You say take away 5 starters away from Inter Milan or Milan and we'll see what they can do. Well, you're seeing it right now. You're seeing it right now. This team still gets on because I still think this comes down to the team's heart. And that comes down from the coach. And I think coaches like Max Allegri using that excuse as a reason as to why their teams are playing so poor is a cop-out. But Pioli steps up and he makes himself accounted for. I think Pioli said something as well about those comments from Max Allegri a couple of weeks back as well. So that's just sort of rubbing it into the wounds now that Max is... Maybe he's just not that good of a coach. I've been saying this for years. People asked for him to be sort of come in for Pioli a couple of years into his tenure. But I was convinced with Pioli because I think he adds this element of heart to this side, which makes that sort of extra 10%, 20% in games like last night where you need that to sort of step out. And he gives confidence into players who just generally would not have those confidence. I mean, Ballo-Toure as well. I mean, someone like me, crapping on the player consistently, steps up in that moment, take that chance where naturally, probably in the Max Allegri side, would have the confidence to even be in the box. So I think this comes down to the coaches and the comparisons. And I've always said, and I've always backed, and I did it on the podcast a couple of weeks back as well, I've always backed Stefano Pioli for being our coach right now because he's perfect for what this team resembles and our humble sort of development going forward. What else can we talk about? Rafael Leão. I think it was the last one I sort of wanted to sort of pick up on. Another goal and assist. Crazy numbers he's putting up so far. 4 goals and 7 assists in 9 games. He's a monster. This kid is a monster. Yeah, I'm sort of out of words to find how good he is. Takes on players at ease. The whole attack goes through him. We seem to have nothing without him, so I dread to think he ever gets an injury one day. Yeah, it's just crazy how good he is. And I think, I don't want to bleed on about this sort of contract renewal thing, but it needs to get done. This is different to Kessie, 100% different to Kessie, because this kid is honestly holding down our whole attack. He is generational as a talent, and he honestly has the sky as the limit. You know, we saw he missed the chance against Empoli in the first half when De Ketelaere put him through. Yeah, things like those moments like that, we can really be adding to his goal tally. He can be having so many more goals, honestly, and probably more assists if players could finish the ball as well than he currently has, which already is actually really good. 4 goals and 7 assists in 9 games. To think he can actually add to that and inflate those stats is crazy. So that means we have to keep this player. I don't want to hear nothing, and I will not defend management unless they are ridiculous. No, I can't even do that either. I can't even back management if basically his demands are so high that we can't even touch that. No, we have to make exceptions for this kid right now because he's honestly so good of a striker. A forward, not forward, he's not even a winger, a forward, a player right now I've not seen in many years for Milan right now. The way he just gets you off your seat, the way he just has such a great technique of the ball, such great confidence, beats a man off the dribble without any lack of space and acceleration. He can just do it like that. He is a threat to any right back, centre midfielder, anyone in Serie A that he comes up against. And I'm honestly so excited when I see him on the ball, but just want to get that renewal done. But let's hope that happens. But guys, I'm going to finish off. I think I've spoken about quite a lot of things today. Just want to run it back to this level of entertainment. Just soak it in, guys, as a Milan fan right now. Regardless if it's win, lose, draw, I always come away from every game being completely entertained. And I think we are all the same. This is honestly, and I think you go back to those years where depressingly watched us play against, mediocre sides or sides in mid-table and getting dominated from sides at the top of Serie A. We've come away from that now. And there's honestly such a great story to this team, such a great heart, that I love to see results like last night. It's just, pulls out of the bag. But guys, wrapping things up, going to talk about Chelsea. Stamford Bridge midweek, I will be there. So I think I've said it a couple times before now. If anyone is also going to that game, just give a shout in the comment section, maybe reply on Twitter, send me a DM. I'm sure we're going to all meet up together. I'll be in the away end with a few of the sort of Milan clubs, Dublin, London, etc. Really excited to sort of meet new people, see some old faces as well. Have a couple of beers, and I can't get hold of any tickets as well. So if you're going to ask me for some tickets, I can't do that. I'm not even that I I ain't got that sort of clout. So hopefully I'll see you then. If I do see you, whoever is coming to the game. Until next time, guys, let's get a good result against Chelsea. Let's get a good result against Juventus as well on the following weekend. And Forza Milan.